Chapter 62-22. The old lady rolled her eyes at him. So you're adding more yourself? Charlie smiled and said, Don't worry, Grandma. Just let Grandpa drink 2 glasses. It's okay. The old lady naturally knew that her precious grandson had given the old man a good elixir. The old man's body had long been healed. And it was no harm to drink some wine. So she didn't insist anymore, but reminded the old man. Thanks to Charlie for speaking for you. You only need to drink 2 glasses, but not more. The old man immediately smiled and said, Enough, 2 glasses are enough. The eldest uncle at the side was the most considerate and quickly filled a glass. The old man immediately picked up the glass in a flash and said with a smile, Here, the first glass of wine. Welcome Professor Watt to our home. Everyone raised their glasses. After the dinner started and the first glass of wine was drunk, Charlie went straight to the point and asked, Grandpa, Uncle, Second Uncle, how is your investment in Eastcliff going this time? Grandpa smiled and said, We have negotiated a few major projects and will soon be officially announced. Let your second uncle introduce you to the details. Marcus took over and said, Last time, we decided to invest in a power battery-related company. This time in Eastcliff, it happened that Remy Automobile went public. Internet companies crossed over to build cars and sold more than a year's production capacity in 1 month after listing. It is really amazing and it really makes people look at domestic brands with new eyes. So we simply took over a new energy vehicle manufacturing company. Marcus talked to Charlie about the industrial layout of the Yin family. He used we because the Yin family has reached a consensus that most of the future Yin family will be left to Charlie. So he is not only the grandson of the Yin family but also the major shareholder of the Yin family. Charlie didn't think about it in this way. He was just very surprised. When he came back from the United States last time, the Yin family only had plans to develop a new energy vehicle brand. But he didn't expect that they would take over directly now. Thinking of this, he hurriedly asked, Second Uncle, when you say take over, do you mean directly acquire a company? Yes. Marcus nodded and said, There is a new energy vehicle company that has a big problem with its capital chain and is looking for financing everywhere. I discussed it with your uncle. The valuation is not high anyway, only a few billion US dollars, and now there is a debt crisis. The founding team shut down the production line and ran out to find money to save their lives. I happened to meet their CEO in Eastcliff, so I just had a chat and took over $3 billion US. Charlie nodded. $3 billion US is indeed not a lot. It is like a drizzle to him, let alone to the Yin family. At this time, Pollard on the side couldn't help asking. The new energy vehicle company that Mr. Yin is talking about is GAO Home, right? Eh? Marcus asked in surprise. Does Professor Watt know about this company? Pollard nodded and said, I've heard a little bit about it. I heard a long time ago that they are in a debt crisis. And their sales have not been very good. In addition, the production lines were closed some time ago. I think they can only sell themselves to save their lives. Charlie added at this time, Uncle Watt has done a very deep study of the domestic new energy market. We had a brief chat last time. I really admire many of his views, especially his idea of overtaking on a curve. I was very impressed. I originally wanted to arrange a meeting after Uncle Watt's wedding. But I can't wait. You guys came back and I will arrange it as soon as you come. Marcus said, since Professor Watt knows so much about new energy, I really want to hear him analyze the current new energy situation and give us some advice. Then, Marcus said, to be honest, the Yin family rarely gets involved in manufacturing, but this time we invested in power batteries, vehicle manufacturing, and domestic chip research and development. And commercial aerospace, which is basically manufacturing. We also hope to make some contributions to the manufacturing industry to the best of our ability. If we can incubate good companies and get some economic returns, it would be even better. But to be honest, if we really want to talk about how to operate a large plate like the manufacturing industry with thousands or tens of thousands of people, I am still confused, especially about vehicle manufacturing. This Gaoheng is our wholly owned acquisition. Next, after they have dealt with the debt and equity transfer issues, we will have to invest another sum of money to start production. But now I haven't thought about it yet. Should I keep the original team to continue operating for a while? Or just get rid of them all and replace them with new ones? I wonder if Professor Watt has any good ideas? Pollard thought for a while and said, I personally feel that Gaoheng's problem lies in its product positioning. The main products rely on constantly piling up materials to increase their value. But the sales volume is bound to not increase if the customer unit price is too high. In the field of high customer unit price, there is also competition from traditional luxury cars. As long as the product strength can't keep up, it will be difficult to open up the market. And to be honest, their product design is not very mature. Once they trap themselves in the circle of niche aesthetics, they will inevitably further compress their living space. But the Remy you mentioned just now is completely different. Their positioning is quite precise and fierce, and their product design is also impeccable. Putting aside the issue of whether there is reference, the appearance of their products does conform to the mainstream aesthetic. At this point, Pollard paused slightly, and then said, so if you let me make a personal judgment, I tend to divide Gaoheng's team into two, retain the production end first to ensure that the production line can run at any time. But the design end and marketing end should be replaced as much as possible. And even the brand should be completely replaced. Although you bought Gaoheng, you can no longer use Gaoheng's brand, because the news of its bankruptcy was once a hot topic. And people knew that this brand was going to fail. The brand value has become negative, it is far better to start a new one. Marcus asked again, then what do you think? If we rebuild a brand, how should the main product be positioned? Pollard said, it must be to compete with the products with the highest sales and market share. Then, Pollard said, in order to reduce pressure and increase the success rate, many people like to start a business in vertical segments. They think that the competition in e-commerce platforms is too great. So they simply create a small mall or a small program and choose segments such as maternal and child care, wine and beverages, and daily chemicals. But once you do this, you will never be able to make a big platform. And you may even have to survive under someone else's ecosystem for the rest of your life. The same is true for cars. Almost every company that decides to build a car thinks that the competition for new energy cars around 200,000 yuan is the greatest. There is Tesla, a dominant player that sells hundreds of thousands of cars a year, and a lot of new domestic forces inside. Therefore, some companies are aiming at the sinking market of 20,000 to 30,000 and 350,000 yuan, while some companies are thinking about finding a way to enter the mid to high-end market of more than 500,000 to 600,000 yuan. However, as long as you hold this mentality, although you may succeed in the segmented field, you may never win a giant like Tesla. Tesla's market value exceeded $1 trillion at its peak. Today, even though the concept of new energy has cooled down, its market value is still more than $500 billion. The market value of all domestic new forces combined is not as good as it. I am not worshipping foreign things or thinking how powerful Tesla is. I just think that although many companies always say that they are better than it at the press conference, they are still instinctively avoiding its edge. If someone else were to engage in new energy, I might also suggest that he do so, but the Yin family is different. At this point, Pollard said very seriously, the Yin family has strong capital strength. And Charlie and the Wade family's funds are far from comparable to domestic new energy vehicle companies. In addition, Charlie has ISU shipping in his hands. And the number and volume of ships are among the best in the world. Now the Yin family has already laid out power batteries and acquired Gaoheng Automobile. In this case, why not integrate resources and truly make new energy bigger and stronger?